Has Jesus really appeared in Gaza? I've been seeing a few videos on YouTube, and well, I am fully aware that a lot of the information on YouTube can be simply people on crack writing all sorts of ideas and such. But it was an interesting thing to, well, look at and see that strange apparitions have been sighted in there, and a lot of people have been seeing either in their dreams or they have been seeing actual visuals of someone representing or looking like Jesus. And well, they said a lot of people were really moved or shocked by this, and they say so many Muslims even started converting to Christianity. As I've said in previous videos, I'm not interested in whether people convert from one point to another because it's still a belief system. And a belief system is not going to make your life better, only your actions will. They can help you be an engine, but your actions will ultimately make your life better or worse. See, there could be some occult ideas behind all of this. See, I'm not here to tell you that Jesus will come or he will not come. It is beyond my interests and as well as, to a certain extent, my comprehension. But let's not forget that Jesus suddenly appearing in Gaza can have multiple possibilities, and I repeat, this video is a list of possibilities, not of truths and the such. I'm not a prophet to tell you this is going to happen or not. Though I may have the possibility to calculate some probabilities, I'm not interested in doing that because a probability is not something fixed. So the very simple point would be, why in Gaza and why necessarily Jesus? See, if you want to rule the masses, you have to make them miserable, extremely miserable, and then send them a great possible savior. Who else than the so-called Jesus Christ? Then you would think, well, nobody in there is a Christian, or the amount of Christian people in there is like infinitesimally small, right? There are a lot of Jewish people, right? Judaism, and obviously Muslim people. So why necessarily Jesus Christ? Well, it's kind of the same thing, I would say, if this is done by the elitists through what is known to be Project Bluebeam. Well, this could be a good move because it's exactly like in Iran, where they try to force the law that forced women to wear hijabs, and it upset a lot of people. And again, they started converting. Some of them started converting to Christianity. It is a way in which you create division because the more people convert from the masses, the other miserable people will feel threatened. It will cause fractures, friction, and therefore conflicts, which obviously conflicts are profitable, right? Because what would the Muslims have to do necessarily with Jesus Christ? Yeah, sure, they do believe in Jesus, but they have different writings, different interpretations on his, existence, let's say. So that could be a possibility. Now, we could also argue on one other thing. We could also argue this as an aspect of aliens. Now, a lot of alien sightings have been done, but a lot of people simply seem too simple minded. It's like, do you think those things, those flying saucers on the sky, are necessarily alien saucers? They could be government ones because we have technology which is far too futuristic for a lot of the simple minded people. You can't expect aliens to be just like in cartoons, where they just come with one flying saucer and they move around. But at the same time, could it actually be a possibility, right? Why not? Because you never know where their mothership is, because you can't expect them to simply come in small saucers. Well, we never know. They might actually travel half the galaxy in an instant. Obviously, if they have the capability to come to your planet, definitely their technology is far superior. They maybe just warp themselves in and out in an instant from the center of the galaxy, let's say, to our place. Or their mothership is cloaked somewhere in the solar system or whatever. There have been way too many sightings of saucers staying in different positions. We would be an interesting planet for aliens because we are quite an advanced civilization. Sure, we are primitives compared to the galaxy, but still, the far more advanced you are, it is always going to be attractive to see how smaller planetary civilizations would develop, right? And then there would be a problem when you see all the strife on that planet, and, well, more sensitive aliens would probably want to interfere to make sure that we don't cause or lead ourselves to destruction. In the end, more and more scientific evidence is leaning evolution and life somewhat more and more against the idea of creation, God, creation, the two first people, and what kind of the Bible tells you and the such. Because ultimately, the Bible is a good set of ideas and stories and the such, but I kind of feel it is a bit unfounded, and it feels exactly like what some illiterate people will tell you. Or some people who know secrets, but they can't expose too many things because, well, their audience was very illiterate, right? You can't speak of aliens and the such to a lot of people, right? Like, for example, when it came to the old masses, right? The masses in Europe in the old times, when Christianity started appearing, you couldn't tell people, right? Like in a white-skinned continent, you couldn't tell them that Jesus was actually not white-skinned, right? And that Jesus would be black, for example, because I think even before Christianity, black as a non-color was somewhat inspiring of evil or pointing towards evil, right? These were old beliefs of the people, which were assimilated in time in Christianity, but that was a problem in a way, right? And all sorts of other things. But the sudden apparition of Jesus, could it actually not necessarily be tied to the elitists? Could it actually be a point in which aliens try to infiltrate, like softly, right, into our society through different signs and beliefs of us to simply try to promote peace instead of the destruction that we're aimlessly doing in the name of nothing, right? It could be a point. The third point that I have is the idea of an avatar. An avatar is something you'll find most predominantly in Hinduism. An avatar is technically not an overpowerful being like you'll see in the movies. An avatar means a repetition. Yes, it is a repetition. Someone who reaches a certain power, a certain level of power. Let's say a yogi, or I don't know, whatever. Let's call it in Western ways, let's call them a powerful sorcerer, someone who has a great understanding of the cosmos, the world, and things like that. You can create a replica of yourself with your powers and the such, and you can create it in the ether. It will live there as a being in a way. It can be accessed by other people as well if they have a certain level, just like you can access Hindu gods, for example. In a way, it's what the Hindus call a yantra or a machine, right? You may perish, obviously, because sooner or later it happens to everyone. But the simple point is, after that, sooner or later, if certain conditions are met, the avatar will come back. It's not the person who lived. The avatar will come back. And they will live a certain life. They will look exactly the same, but they were not going to be the original. Yes? So this Jesus, maybe they have been someone's yantra, and now they're appearing again because the times are needed. It can be a great possibility. Of course, to a lot of people, it's, mumbo jumbo and the such. But when you look at all the things that have been told and spoken, ever since the early 80s, even the 90s, about the future pandemic, about some people wanting to rule the world, the new world order, everything that has been told to you has kind of been true. Another point, which goes back to the again to the elites. See, a lot of people have been saying that they've even seen visions of Jesus, but haven't they been telling you that they can implement thoughts in your mind? So, whichever of these points you may feel attracted to, the elites and their pesky plans, right, their subversion, uh, you know, like Project Bluebeam, or, well, whatever of the ideas that I presented, well, it is up to you. I present things and, well, I just prefer exposing them to a certain extent and letting people think and decide upon. I'm not the mainstream media to dictate upon you directly or indirectly what to believe in. Yes? So, whether it is the elites, whether it is aliens, or a possible avatar, these are my possible interpretations. Now, something fuzzy was those people said in the end, or well, the videos said that some of them could even touch them. Well, a 7D, I don't know how to put it, hologram, I think it has something physical to it as well. In a way, you can feel it as if it is physical because it has a certain density. It is not fully physical. Your hand still moves through it, but they're not going to be like, the holograms in movies where if you cover a part of it, the light cannot penetrate your arm or whatever obstacle you put, and easily you can observe it is hologram. These are far more compact, and if you touch them, you have a certain sensitivity. I think you can also feel as if you are literally touching something. So these are just points of view. Feel free to interpret upon them as you will, but don't make a Bible out of those. This channel does not have the purpose for that. People will fight fanatically for anything because they fail to find a goal to follow in life. And life, especially with cancer culture, as I call it, will never give you something to follow. They will give you sooner or later something to follow, but obviously in someone else's interest, never in your interest. So hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care, enjoy life, and this being said, Ferenc Jan Bohr signing out.